Good day to you, fellow quarantiners. I am going to read Old Lady Grizelda, my first picture book for children. Just to note, there's a glossary in the back, so some of the language seems a little high level for some little kids, and it's a great way to show them how to look up words that they don't understand. The other thing, I wrote the book with the intention of not judging a book by its cover. I've had a lot of people tell me that they think the cover of Old Lady Grizelda is pretty scary. And the point of the whole book is that she may look scary, but she's not a scary human being. She actually is very endearing. I have always intended to do a second book called Grizelda Goes On or something like that, the continuation of Grizelda's story. And I've always wanted this to be the cover, Grizelda and the little boy on a motorcycle with a sidecar. And I ride a motorcycle myself, and so I just think it's a fun way to think about them going on adventures in the continuation. So if you like that idea, let us know. John Woods Jr. is one of my favorite illustrators. He did this book, and we've worked together ever since. We've done poetry books together, Fractured Fairy Tales. He illustrated 4 of the books in my 6-book series. And continues. We've been working on a time-traveling dinosaur twins, T-Rexes, and it's kind of a fun speculation on time travel. But without further ado, I will go ahead and read to you Old Lady Grizelda by Justin Matat, illustrated by John Woods. Then there's Old Lady Grizelda lives up on the hill, mixing toenails and taters, which she boils in her still. She works with the cauldron, mixing strange little brews from the hair and the claws of her animal crews. Though I've never been close up, she's hard to describe. Comes from somewhere else, must have been an odd tribe. She's not really tall and she's not really fat. Her nose is protruding and her head's kind of flat. Her hair is all tangled and multicolored too, fixed up with pins, mud, and some kind of glue. Old Lady Grizelda, some say mean, some say nice. Most don't really know her. No one's spoken to her twice. Say they've seen her at midnight when out planting peas, or she's looking for treasure without any keys. Old Lady Grizelda looks all the day through for something she's lost, without which she can't do. She seems really lonely, sits up there in a funk, so many years spent just a-looking for junk. She's singing about treasure, something she has misplaced, sings about some lost rubies that one time her neck graced. Have you looked in her garden at her really small graves with little white crosses, maybe tunneling some caves? Some tell of a time claimed treasure on her plot. She's been looking for years till she almost forgot. Here her breakfasts are weird, eggs of ostrich and muttons. Boils her coffee, eats grounds, and chews on her buttons. Old Lady Grizelda seems she's really a loon. She likes to eat kid stew with a huge curvy spoon. Pretty scary. Old Lady Grizelda's got a zoo full of beasts. Newts, grizzlies, and seals create her a fine feast. Her teller-old fridge is full of all sorts of odd things. Snake tongues, lizards, potions, marbles, worms, and bat wings. Could this all be rumor? That lonely old lady plays all of the time, singing down in the canyon in an eerie, strange rhyme. Have you heard when she wails to the clouds up above? Her tell she is sad, something called a lost love. Old Lady Grizelda all the night she does sing, voice carries down valleys with a strange sort of ring. Notes line up in rows and fall down the cliff into the sea down below, and from the waves get a lift. Have you noticed that she's right up here watching us the whole time? That's a doll somebody made me of Grizelda. When she's feeling frisky, jumps off and floats down. On the back of a fish, she swims into town. She sounds fun. Old Lady Grizelda's always wandering about with animals of all sorts. She sings loud and they shout. She jogs and she skips, she seems to hold court, and along with her animals, she plays a weird sport. Have you seen all those critters? They're actually quite cute, but I've never seen a rhino in a full 3-piece suit. Her only friends play dress-up at night, walk up on the cliff tops, gives townspeople a fright. Her only friends? That's sad. Old Lady Grizelda, she has caused quite a din, spends time with her monsters with fur, feathers, and fin. Have you seen her in daytime? It's exceptionally rare. She dances and prances in pink underwear. Underwear? She's loony, she's crazy, she's a lonely old gal. She's in need of a human or some kind of pal. Have you seen her old car? Bounces noisy and loud, polishes it with a marmot. She's really quite proud. And this is where it goes from third person to first person, because he sees her within his own eyes. It's a very critical part of the story. As I watch her, I notice she's lonely and sad, hours alone on her porch, and that makes me feel bad. Old Lady Grizelda, her lights now are on. I'm tempted to creep up there to hear some of her song. I wander and wonder, maybe it's all a big tale. All those strange happenings, eating kids and a whale. Crept up to her house, I peered in, a hard lookin'. Thought there would be monsters. She just stood there a-cookin'. I'll go in and see her. I'm frightened and scared. Just hope she won't boil me with raisins and pears. Oh, Lady Grizelda, I knocked on her door. She opened it widely and asked if there's more. She knew I was coming, saw me out by her fence. She put on some tea. Let our talking commence. She put on some tea? That sounds like a friend. Old Lady Grizelda, we sat out on her grass. Was little past twilight, but in no time passed. The moon shining over her yard and her head. I didn't see anything I needed to dread. Old Lady Grizelda never went into town. Grew all her own food, made the grocery man frown. So no one could know her. To this she seemed sad. She was afraid of them also, and that too was bad. Spoke more of the treasure. It had been there so long. She'd been digging and digging, had come up with her song. She cackled and laughed till I thought she would burst. Then she pulled something out from her little clutch purse. And then from her purse dabbed on makeup a bit. She licked on her lip, and I swear she did spit. I told her the rumors about all the old stories, told the ones about her, but I left out the gories. She said, it's no matter what folks said about things, but she'd have to remember to use more tone when she sings. Old Lady Grizelda, she's both witty and quick, recalled when it started round the time of St. Nick. Seems they all came a-caroling. She was in a poor mood. She grumbled and grimaced, showed them part of her brood. She stood at the door, had a lizard and snake, shook them at the carolers, and made them all shake. Since that dark snowy night, the legend had grown about the little old lady whom nobody had known. Old Lady Grizelda let the story commence about the time they all crossed her white picket fence. She drove them away with a whip and a chair. All those stories about her, some just don't seem fair. She sipped from her tea, went on to explain all the times that she's dug. She could take no more pain. Her back's giving out, that's why she sings loud when she's digging out there, not meant to draw a crowd. The little white crosses? They just mark where she's been. I'm not burying anything, she exclaimed with a grin. We talked of the treasure she would split with my crew, full of rubies that chest and bars of gold too. It'd take more strong backs to unearth from her map the treasure chest left there years ago by her pap. When she thought of her dad, tears rolled down her cheek, and then she exclaimed, "Hey, maybe the creek." Her life's full of memories, dreams of Greece, Rome, and France. Says she's seen all their paintings and that they love to dance. She was born in the wrong time. Wish she could turn the clock back. When things were so simple, she'd live out of a pack. A gypsy, she said, is what she'd like to be, to hop trains and hop steamers, then she could be free. When she's painting or sculpting, dreams both day and night of long-distance places, but home is just right. Oops, sorry. Old Lady Grizelda paints flowers and things, wears paint on her skin and many gold rings. She paints under moonlight, makes sculptures of clay, says the whole world turns funny, but she likes it that way. She stood in her kitchen, maybe pudding and cream. No monsters, no critters, and nobody screamed. A good time we had. We laughed and we dug, looked hard for her treasure, but found only a bug. Old Lady Grizelda found out her real name. It isn't so crazy, it's really quite tame. Her real name is Katie, short for Catherine or Kate. Though she is sort of weird, she's totally great. Convinced now she's harmless, silly rumors and hearsay. Folks misunderstood her. She just lives life her own way. Grizelda's a sweetheart, of this I am clear. She's become my new granny. No more reason to fear. I'm going back tomorrow to help her pick peas. You're welcome to join me. We'll look for those keys. Now here's where the story goes home round the bend. I'm sorry, it's over, but this is the end. And then you've got Grizelda's glossary in the back to look up all those words that you didn't No. So the one thing that my mom used to say is, and she wouldn't say it about Griselda, but she'd say, I'll just say it about Griselda. If you don't have a Griselda on your block, you're the Griselda. Embrace people. People are different, and people who look different than us are people we should get to know. People that aren't just like us are going to be a whole lot more interesting in our lives because they will enhance our lives. That's why I wrote that book.